Today, we drive the Carbon Fox. We're going to compare, at least my thoughts, between the AOD and the T5 after this video, so hang around. Alright guys, we're going to make a pull in the Carbon Fox because we don't ever really get it out and play with it much. So what we're going to do is pull it down in second gear, hold it, and then we're just going to roll into her and see what she does, see if she'll make some steam, see if this thing might be a competitor. The Carbon Fox a lot, much anymore. I think whenever I first started driving it, I was a little scared of it. You know, didn't want to tear it up. You guys got to remember, this thing's got two different rods in it out of another 302. Nothing was balanced. Just threw this thing together. It's a 308. It's got can-filled heads with an SI trim or TI trim supercharger. Makes 15 pounds of boost, or at least it did before we put this new belt on. Maybe we'll make 16. Basically what we're doing today is a shakedown run on this car. It's kind of warm out. It's probably 80 degrees. Just kind of want to see what this thing does. The only bad thing about a supercharged car is heat soak. You know, you drive it around, especially at low speeds. The supercharger builds up a lot of heat. That heat gets transferred over into the charge pipe and you lose a lot of power. This car is probably going to make 50 less horsepower right now than what it'll make tonight in 55 degree weather, and that's probably a safe bet. That's the only thing to where, like, a nitrous car doesn't really care. NA car doesn't really care. Turbo cars the same way too. They'll heat soak a little bit as well. Actually a lot, but seems to be more noticeable in a supercharged car. Had some people ask about an update on this transmission. As you can see, it shifts great. No real issues with it. It doesn't have a manual valve body, so you have to do the AOD shuffle. That's the only thing about it. But other than that, transmission's doing great. This is the AOD 4R70W hybrid type thing. I guess we'll just turn around because we have to slow down. Yeah. So we're gonna hit it from second. Go through the gears real quick. She should pull hard. I don't know. If we don't blow it up. It's always the chance. I got a feeling it's not gonna run that good. It's getting hot. Yeah, temperature's up a little bit. Come out later tonight and do a comparison. You should be able to hear the difference in how the car runs. Alright, so this is how you do the AOD shuffle. If you're trying to hold it in second, go to first gear, bump it to second, let it shift, pull it back to first, now you're good to go. It hits so much harder in the cool air. Oh yeah. So I know you're wondering, I don't think that's enough to outrun the Gray Ghost. It doesn't hit hard enough, plus that's from second gear. I just don't think it's got enough. Maybe on a cool night, because it's a different car on a cool night. But either way, this car runs so good. It's a good driver. I love it. So anyway, we're gonna head back to the house and finish up on Burger's car. We just figured we'd take this car out, give it a little shakedown, see where we're at. Catch you guys back at the house. So now that we're back, let's talk about the differences between an AOD and a 5-speed. Well, first off, the AOD is extremely easy to drive. You just put it in drive and it shifts. But there's some caveats that go along with this. If you're wanting to drag race a car with an AOD in it, you're going to need to go with a manual valve body. Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way right now. For any of you guys that think the AOD shuffle is long-term, like that's something you can deal with long-term, I'm going to be honest with you, it's aggravating as hell. It's really hard to get this thing to hold the gear that you want it to hold, and then you can really screw up and overshift or pull this thing back in the wrong gear trying to do the AOD shuffle. So with that being said, I recommend for any of you guys that want to get serious about your AOD, put a manual valve body in it. Now, what are some of the benefits of having an AOD transmission, meaning AOD case, even with some 4R70W internal parts in it? What's the benefit? Well, the benefit is you get a TV cable. You get an overdrive that's not electronically controlled. Your lockup's not controlled with electronics. So it's extremely easy to retrofit. You can put this thing in anything. If it'll bolt up, all you got to do is hook the cable up to the carburetor or to whatever, you know, type fuel injection you have, throttle body, and it's going to work, okay? You can adjust it out. Whereas if you have something like a 4R70 or something different, electronically controlled transmission, even with a manual valve body, you're still going to have to actuate lockup through a button and also overdrive. Unless you go with a transmission controller, which they can be expensive and kind of aggravating to tune, okay? So that's one of the benefits from an AOD. Now, power-wise, how do all these cars differ? Because we have cars that are 5-speed supercharged. I'm going to be honest with you, you're going to get a more consistent feel out of the 5-speed car. We all know how to get our 5-speed cars in that perfect RPM, right? In that perfect power band, if you will, before you hit it. With an AOD, especially something that you have to do the AOD shuffle on, it gets confusing at times to get the car to be consistent. To get the consistency back, there again, manual valve body. Now the car is going to pretty much hit the same every single time. It's just going to be a better experience. You're going to have a decent amount of money in an AOD to build it the way that this one's built, especially if you go manual valve body. So you're going to need a torque converter. You're going to need to get it built. You're going to need some different parts. So it can be expensive. You're going to have $3 grand easily in this transmission. So you have to decide whether that's worth it for you. There are other transmissions out there that are stronger and better, but you're also going to spend more money than that to get them right, more than likely. How's this compared to a C4? I know everybody's going to want to know that. Well, overdrive. That's the big difference. You get an overdrive, which allows you to run more gear. This car's got 410s in it, and because of the overdrive, it's not a problem. I could take this car anywhere. So there are other options out there for transmissions. I'll let you guys do your research and decide on that. I actually really do think that this is a great option for people. If you're just wanting to daily drive the car, then leave the stock valve body in it and do it like I do it, manually shift it, and you'll learn it. No big deal. All right, so the big question is, which one do I prefer? Do I prefer the 5-speed or the AOD? If I had to pick one car to own at my age, you know, I don't have bad knees, anything like that, I'm perfectly capable of driving a 5-speed, I would choose a 5-speed car. If I had two cars, one would be AOD, one would be 5-speed. I think that's the perfect combination, to be honest with you guys. Don't shy away from these AODs. This thing has stood up behind 15 pounds of boost, 20 pounds of boost at one time before we changed the pulley back, and it's not skipped a beat. It's been awesome. So do your research on the AOD/4R70W stuff. Talk to some transmission builders and see if it works out for you. Me personally, I really enjoy driving the car. It's probably the one I get in the most outside of the 65. I know there's always questions about automatics versus manual, so there you go. Maybe that helps you out. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up, and as always, thanks for watching.